सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया से बहुत बड़ी खबर आ रही है। भारतवर्ष के इतिहास में पहली बार लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग हो रही है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया की कार्रवाई की लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग आज दिखाई जा रही है। आपको बताते चलें कि चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया मिस्टर एनवी रमना की सेरेमोनियल बेंच की आज लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग इस टाइम 10:45 से लगातार चल रही है। अभी हम आपको उसके कुछ अंश दिखाते हैं, आप वीडियो के माध्यम से देख सकते हैं। ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया की लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग के कुछ अंश हैं। चीफ जस्टिस एनवी रमना के कार्यकाल का आज है आखिरी दिन और भारतवर्ष के इतिहास में पहली बार सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया की कार्रवाई को लोग अपने अपने घरों से देख सकते हैं। भारत के मुख्य न्यायाधीश एनवी रमना आज सेवानिवृत्त हो रहे हैं। वहीं एनवी रमना की सेरेमोनियल बेंच की कार्रवाई का उनके अंतिम कार्य दिवस पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट से आज सीधा प्रसारण किया जा रहा है और इसी के साथ आज जनता सुप्रीम कोर्ट में सीजेआई की बेंच की कार्रवाई लाइव देख पा रही है। 2018 के फैसले के बाद पहली बार सुप्रीम कोर्ट में लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग हो रही है। रमना आज सीजीआई के साथ शेयर कर रहे हैं बेंच। चीफ जस्टिस एनवी रमना की सेरेमोनियल बेंच के आप अंश इस वक्त देख रहे हैं, यानी कि जिस बेंच में वह अगले चीफ जस्टिस यू ललित के साथ बैठेंगे और कुछ वरिष्ठ वकील उनके सम्मान में, उनके विदाई समारोह के सम्मान में देखिए कुछ बातें भी कहते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। आपको बताते चलें कि यह सुप्रीम कोर्ट की शुरू से चली आ रही परंपरा है, जिसमें कोर्ट में वकीलों की खचाखच भीड़ के चलते पत्रकार भी अक्सर नहीं जा पाते हैं। पहली बार इसकी लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग पूरा देश हमारा देख रहा है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के कंप्यूटर सेल ने इस बात की नोटिस के माध्यम से पिछले दिनों जानकारी दी थी। आपको बताते चलें कि उसमें यह लिखा था कि कृपया ध्यान दें, भारत के मुख्य न्यायाधीश की अदालत की कार्रवाई यानी समारोह पीठ 26 अगस्त 2022 पूर्वाह्न 10:30 बजे से एनआईसी के वेबकास्ट पोर्टल के माध्यम से लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग करी जा रही है। आपको बताते चलें वहीं सीजीआई ने दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन द्वारा गुरुवार को आयोजित किए गए फेयरवेल कार्यक्रम में कहा कि मुझे लगता है कि मैं उस उम्मीद पर खरा उतरा जो आपने मुझसे की थी। मैंने मुख्य न्यायाधीश के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का हर संभव तरीके से निर्वहन किया। ये बात उन्होंने कल कही थी। एनवी रमना जी ने अपने फेयरवेल प्रोग्राम में, जो कि दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट के द्वारा आयोजित किया गया था, उन्होंने यह भी कहा कि मैंने 2 मुद्दों को उठाया है। आप सभी जानते हैं कि बुनियादी ढांचा और न्यायिक न्यायाधीशों की नियुक्ति। उन्होंने यह भी कहा कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट और कॉलेजियम में जजों द्वारा किए गए समर्थन से हमने हाई कोर्ट में लगभग 224 न्यायाधीशों को सफलतापूर्वक नियुक्त किया है। बहुत बड़ी खबर है। आइए देखते हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट की लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग के कुछ अंश।
The respondent authority does not have the power to initiate recovery of dues by means of sale confiscation as provided under Customs Act. 2. After such assessment, the respondent authority has to submit its claim concerning customs duty, operational debt, in terms of the procedure laid down in strict compliance of the time periods prescribed under the IBC before adjudicating the authority. In any case, the IRP R3 liquidator can immediately secure goods from the respondent authority to be dealt with appropriately in terms of IBC. Resultantly, we allow the appeal and set aside the impugned order and judgment of the NCLAT.
Immensely.
One 5.1.
This matter is linked to the one that has just been pronounced by Honorable CJI. In this case, the 2 points for consideration was whether the respondent to the liquidator was justified in discontinuing the second Swiss challenge process for sale of part of the assets of the corporate debtor, where the appellant was declared as an anchor bidder and opting for a private sale process through direct negotiation with respect to the composite assets of the corporate debtor. If so, was the enclave justified in directing the respondent to the liquidator to restart the entire process of private sale after issuing an open notice to prospective buyers instead of confining the process to those parties who had participated in the process? We have analyzed the entire statement and obvious of the IBC and the enactment in Chapter 3 of which deals with the liquidation process right from the stage of initiation of liquidation till the stage of dissolution of the corporate debtor, and have concluded that the impugned judgment passed by enclave to the extent that it has modified the order dated 16th August 21 passed by NCLT and directed restraining of private sale process is squashed and set aside. In our opinion, the private sale process of the corporate assets of the corporate debtor should be taken further by the responsible liquidator without losing any further time and be concluded at the earliest. All the eligible bidders who have made earnest money deposits would be entitled to participate in the negotiations to be conducted by the liquidator for privately selling the consolidated assets to the corporate debtor. The process of negotiations that commenced on 24th August 21 shall be taken to a logical end and brought to a closure within 4 weeks from the date of passage of this.
One 1502 for orders. 1502 for orders.
The consent of the original petitioners and the monitoring committee merit due consideration of this court. Much good work has been done in the state of Karnataka because of the action initiated by the original petitioner and the subsequent judicial intervention by this court. In fact, it is this progress made steadily over the past decade that made this court to even consider the relief regarding raising of the ceiling limit sought by the present applicant. The concerns raised by the original petitioner of possible over-excavation and its adverse impact on intergenerational equity must be balanced against the concern of the other parties, as the principles of sustainable development also comes into play. This court has generally accepted the recommendations of the CEC when it comes to the ceiling limit. In the present case, the CEC has recommended a complete relaxation of the ceiling limit, but we are not inclined to allow the same in toto. Rather, the situation merits a cautionary approach, keeping in view of the concern raised and to ensure that any changes in the situation with respect to the mining activity in the state of Karnataka is brought about gradually. We are of the opinion that the ceiling, a limit of iron ore mining may be raised from 28 metric tons to 35 MMT for district Ballari and 7 MMT to 15 MMT to Chitradurga and Tumkur districts collectively. Conservation of ecology and the environment must go hand in hand with the spirit of economic development, and fine balance between two goals is what is sought to be achieved even now. IAS 83141, 72931, 218 are disposed on the above terms. As far as IA 10973 of 2008 is concerned, the same relates to direction to the CEC and the monitoring committee regarding deciding application for enhancement of MPAP in terms of the earlier orders of this court. The same may be considered by the court on the next date of hearing.
He is a 15. 1503. 1503.
The question raised in the present set of petitions relates to promises made by political parties for the distribution of free goods or freebies as a part of their election manifesto or during election speeches. The main contentions of the petition read that such pre-election promises, which have a large-scale impact on the economy of the state, cannot be permitted. The petition submits that such pre-election promises are being made by political parties without any assessment of the financial implication on the state is nothing but an attempt to attract the vote bank. This goes against the spirit of reasonable electioneering and is adversely affecting free and fair elections. This severely affects the level playing field between the different political parties. The money that is being paid by the taxpayers is ultimately being misused for political parties, candidates to gain or retain power. In this batch of petitions, there are two sets of petitions. The first batch relates to pre-election freebies, which may influence voters at the time of elections. The second set of petitions challenging the grant of benefits by the government, which do not relate to any welfare measure or development activity, but rather are a ploy to capture vote banks. The land solicitor responded, and thereafter the election commission, additionally some other implicit respondents and all that. And ultimately, freebies may create a situation where the state government cannot provide basic amenities due to lack of funds, and the state is pushed towards imminent bankruptcy. In the same breath, we could remember that such freebies are extended utilizing taxpayers' money only for increasing the popularity of the party and electoral prospects. We have considered the issues raised in this batch of writ petitions from various angles, as well as the stands taken by the Union of India, Election Commission of India, and some political parties who have filed intervention applications before us. There can be no denying the fact that an electoral democracy such as us, the true power ultimately lies with the electorate. It is the electorate that decides which party or candidate comes to power, and also judges the performance of the said party or candidate at the end of the legislative terms during the next round of the elections. It is also necessary to highlight herein the point raised by some of the interveners that all promises cannot be equated with freebies as they are related to welfare schemes or for the public good. Not only are these issues a part of the directive principles of the state policy, but are also responsibility of the welfare state. At the same time, the worry raised by the petitioners herein that under the guise of electoral promises, physical responsibilities being dispensed with must also be considered. This court generally states its hand when confronted with issues relating to policy or physical matters concerning the state, as the same falls outside the ambit of the court's jurisdiction. Initially, with the objective of initiating a discussion about the issues highlighted, we are of the opinion that it might be appropriate to constitute an expert body to prepare a report or white paper which would suggest a way forward. To this end, we ordered on dated 3/8/2022. We sought for suggestions from the parties before us regarding the possible composition of such a body. Additionally, during the course of the last hearing, we had suggested the Union of India that all party meeting can be called to consider this issue. Ultimately, it appears us that the issues raised by the parties require an extensive hearing before any consent orders can be passed. Certain preliminary issues that may be need to be deliberated upon and decided in the present set of petitions as follows. What is the scope of judicial intervention with respect to the relief sought in the present batch of petitions? Whether any enforceable order can be passed by this court in these state petitions? Whether the appointment of commission/expert body by the court would serve any purpose in this matter? Additionally, that should be the scope and composition and powers of the said body. Apart from the above preliminary questions, many of the parties before us also submitted a judgment of this court in Subramania Balaji requires reconsideration. Subramania Balaji, this court was called upon to determine whether the pre-election promises amount to corrupt practices on Section 123 of the Representation of the People's Act. The court in that case held that such promises do not fall within the ambit of corrupt practices as specified under Section 123 of the Representation of the People's Act, and issued direction to the Election Commission of India regarding framing of certain guidelines in the absence of any legislative enactment covering the field. Looking at the complexity of the issues involved and the prayer to overrule the judgment rendered by two-judge bench of this court, Subramania Balaji, we direct listing of the set of the petition before the three-judge bench after obtaining the order from the Honorable Chief Justice. List of the
Well, after 2 weeks, subject to my lord's leisure.
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Grateful to you, Lord.
Likewise.
Very grateful, Lord.
Thank you, Mr. Ashwini Kumar, bringing the issues in forefront. We will miss you, Lord. Ashwini Kumar, P. ML Sharma. Sharma is not there?
1504.
Since a minor.
1504.
Yes. For the aforesaid reasons, we concur with the findings returned of the impugned judgment, which is upheld. The appellant state government is directed to take necessary steps to process the allotment of the subject land in favor of the respondent company within 4 weeks from today. The respondent company shall file a fresh undertaking with the state government within the same timeline as was filed by the High Court or initiating time-bound activities for the benefit of the surrounding villages as compensatory measures for allocation of the subject land. The appeal is dismissed by leaving the parties to bear their own expenses.
One five zero five.
In the opposite circumstances, we do not think it necessary to go into the contentions raised by both sides on the issue of a denial of sanction for prosecution and the legal pleas sought to be raised in relation to the said issue. However, we think it appropriate that the legal questions on the issue of sanction be left open to be considered in appropriate cases. Consequently, this appeal is dismissed, subject to the other submissions.
Let the question of law.
Legal questions, legal questions.
होगा